to another episode of Bite-Sized Strategic Portfolio Management. Topic for this session is going to be adding value in minutes, or to alternatively called only wrangle the data one time. And we're going to talk about almost every module inside the Tempo SPM solution here. We're only going to show a little bit visually and talk kind of high level about what's going on. Key tenets around it are around our templating and speed mode creation functionality and structure as a data source across other products or other modules. So some things to keep in mind are you need to be aware of what integrations are possible and what modules can talk to each other inside of the suite. The slide that you've seen before should come in really handy here. You can see that essentially structure is the hub. And we're going to talk a little bit about templating in RoadMonk, being able to very quickly get some visualizations there. We're going to talk a little bit around speed mode inside of structure to quickly organize work that's already present inside of Jira. And then for the data wrangling only one time, we're going to be talking about how structure is tied to Planner, tied to timesheets, tied to cost tracker, tied to custom charts, and how that is in turn tied to the Power BI or the BI connectors from the AlphaServe platform. So low time to value from templates and speed mode. The talking points here are around how quickly you can create roadmaps in RoadMonk, how quickly you can take work that exists inside of Jira and organize it inside a structure and then integrate those together. So you could realistically, as someone that is new to structure and RoadMonk with watching a quick tutorial, in around 30 minutes have a decent templated roadmap tied to structure that has some work tied together. The rest of the story revolves around using structure as a data source and how that can interconnect the rest of the Tempo ecosystem. So Jira is notoriously powerful with JQL of what you can look for and notoriously clunky with JQL and what you can look for. So the strong point here is around only having to find that data once and organizing it in a structure. To speak on some technical terms, we've got the generators that are available inside of structures that allow for work and maybe initiatives and then epics underneath those, and then stories and auto pulling subtasks, etc. The talking point is around being able to flexibly set what work matters and having that stay up to date. So as new items are added into those collections, so if you have an epic and new stories are created, you don't need to go find them again later and put them in or update your JQL. They're just going to get pulled in natively by the structure generators. This removes a lot of maintenance headaches for your Jira administration team or your team that is building your dashboards or monitoring the work inside of your program management and portfolio management. When we look back at the interconnectivity, having the work inside of structure for the Jira task wrangling and then the capacity inside of Planner and timesheets means that you only have to set people's work schedules one time. So when you see in other videos in this series or other demonstrations, the nicely color-coded capacity management down at the bottom of the structure in a Gantt view, that's all pulling in from the Tempo timesheets and Planner capacity. So you know what people have available, what they already have scheduled, and then what they have logged historically. This means that no matter what structure you're looking at, you still know what work people have at an individual level. Moving on from the capacity and Planner integration, you can get into cost tracker. A nice talking point here is, again, having that quickly and already wrangled data by building the structure tied to a cost tracker project means that on top of knowing what to execute and how to execute and when to execute, you know how much it costs without having to find all that data again. So creating the structure, organizing the work, and then having it be the data source for the cost tracker project means that your financial team and your team that's monitoring your budgets has the same information as your execution team. It cuts down on a lot of conversations and a lot of coordination as everybody's up to speed with the same information from the start. That further expands into the structured custom charts integration, which we'll talk more about inside of our democratizing your data video in this session or in this series. And the superpower there is with a structure as the data source for a custom chart. Again, you're not having to wrangle the information again, but you also still have your native JIRA permissions and scope. So you could have a very advanced program portfolio level structure that has work across multiple departments, multiple teams, have that tied into custom charts, and then teams will natively see what they have permission to see based on their own JIRA permissions without, again, having to find what projects they're working on that are tied to the scope of a certain program, a certain portfolio, a certain initiative.